All right, and good morning, everybody. Welcome you guys back to Will Back RV Master. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. Good morning. I'm glad to see you guys all doing good this morning. Glad to see you guys all doing great this morning. All right, this morning, what we're going to talk about is troubleshooting what's going on with your RV sewer hose. Before we get started there, I'd like to give you guys a little bit of a heads up and a notice here. I do have the Valterra Flush King hooked up to the Thetford Type to the Lippert Components Wastemaster tote tank adapter. If you guys will hear, this sewer hose allows you to expand and retract. It allows you to extend and retract. But as you guys can tell, we're going to talk about how to troubleshoot what's going on with your RV sewer hose. All right. First of all, before we get started, we need to have some gloves to put on. All right. So I don't have any gloves to put on because of this. These sewer hoses have not been used. Even though these hoses have not been used, I still want to put on some gloves and wear some and make sure that nothing gets on my hands. All right. So here's this. When troubleshooting your RV sewer hose, the first thing you want to do is make sure that your sewer hose is not your sewer hose is not kinked up. All right. You want to make sure that your hose is fully straightened out. You want to make sure that your hose is fully straightened out. And what you can do is you could take your hand and rub it up and down your sewer hose to make sure it's not clogged or anything. Now, if it's clogged, what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to use this little nifty gadget right here. This is the Valterra Flush King. So everybody, ladies and gentlemen, don't ever stick your hand in an RV sewer hose just like I did, okay? Don't ever stick your hand in an RV sewer hose, because if you stick your hand in an RV sewer hose, what's going to happen is you're going to get it stuck, and you'd have to have the fire department come free your hand out. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be majorly the other habitual thing about this unit is whenever you're emptying out your black water and gray water tanks. Sometimes if you have an issue with emptying out your black water and gray water tanks, you're going to end up having an issue with your waste valves. Okay, now that's really one thing that you need to understand and uncover. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to the length of this sewer hose, when fully extended out, I'll unhook it so I can show you guys real quick. This sewer hose, when fully extended out, measures about 47 and a half inches, but when 57 and a half inches, but when fully extended out, when fully collapsed, the unit is going to measure about 21 to 22 inches in length. I don't have the exact numbers, but I'm just telling you guys, this sewer hose is going to get the job done, and you want to get it done within the next few hours of your being at the campsite. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, when you're at your campsite and you notice something going on with your RV sewer hose, don't panic. All right, first of all, you want to make sure that this sewer hose is not clogged. All right, so one thing you can do to make sure that your sewer hose is not clogged is you could take your finger, rub it up and down your RV sewer hose and make sure it's not clogged. Okay, so like I said before, you need to make sure that your sewer hose is not clogged. All right, I want a sewer hose for Christmas, and I'm going to tell you guys this right now. All right, I don't know if I'm getting one. Okay, because I have enough sewer hoses, and it's going to be a lot harder and a lot tougher, as you can tell, with me having enough sewer hoses and all this other shit that I have to deal with. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, when you're emptying out your black water and your gray water tanks, you have to deal with a little bit more of the crap that you're dealing with right now. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, whenever you're emptying out your black water and your gray water tanks, you have to be aware of what your sewer hose the state of your RV sewer hose. Now, for example, if it's cold out here, what happens is your sewer hose is going to freeze up. Okay, your sewer hose is going to freeze up. All right. Now, what's happening here is that if your sewer line freezes up, what will happen is no raw sewage will flow freely through it, and you're going to have a backup. And you're going to have a backup in your RV. Okay, you're going to have a backup in your RV. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to make sure that you have a cover over your sewer line to make sure that none of the sewage exits out of the, make sure that none of the sewage gets frozen up in there, okay? So ladies and gentlemen, one thing you can do to make sure that your sewer line is not frozen up is you can tap on it like this. Like this. You can tap on it like this. And make sure that if you have a sewer line that's frozen up, basically what you can do is you could just use you can use a space heater and heat it up, and that way the space heater can heat up, and it can get rid of all the frozen raw sewage in there. Okay? So, ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to emptying out your black water and your gray water tanks, another thing I want to talk about is this, all right? What's going on with my flow? Well, the flow, which goes into here, and it goes into this tube right here. It goes into this hose, and it goes out the other end, and it goes down into the sewer, okay? It goes down into the sewer tank, or the septic tank, or the sewer receptacle. What happens is that most of the raw sewage will flow into the sewer receptacle and into what is called a city combined sewer. All right? Now, most RV parks today have a city sewer, okay? A city sewer, which means that the sewer is connected to the city, all right? You don't have a septic tank that will take your raw sewage and put it into your septic tank, all right? What you need to understand is raw sewage like this can go into a combined city sewer, all right? So ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to emptying out your black water and gray water tanks again, you have to be aware and inspect the condition of your sewer hose, all right? Just like I have before. You need to inspect your raw sewer line before you start emptying out your black water and your gray water tanks. So to do that, what you can do is you can basically unhook this Valterra Flush King. You can unhook the Valterra Flush King from your RV sewer line like this. And basically what you can do is you can inspect the sewer line and make sure that there's no leaks in it. All right? Make sure that there's no leaks in it. If there is a leak inside this sewer line, what you want to do is you want to make sure that there's no cracks or any chips in it. Okay, make sure there's no cracks or chips in your sewer line, because if there is cracks or chips in your sewer line, what's going to happen is most of the time when you hear me say that, you're going to get raw sewage leaking out of your sewer hose and onto the ground. Okay, and that's going to contaminate the ground and the freshwater system that is at the RV park and the dump station. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, that should do it for today's look on how to troubleshoot an RV sewer hose. And that should do it, featuring the Wastemaster Lippert components tote tank adapter. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.